So, Poppy, thanks for coming on The Seeds. I really appreciate you being here.
Love you, obsessed with you.
We're going to get into it.
I could talk forever,
Yeah,
so.
Me too. I need to know about the chickens. Everything about your chickens. Give me the tea.
Do you have chickens?
I want to really bad. I have enough room for it.
You should.
But then, to be totally frank, when I saw the trauma that went down with your chickens, it kind of made me I don't know if I have the
It's hard.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
I need all the tea.
Well, there's actually more trauma that you don't even know about.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
So we got to start from the beginning.
Yes.
Origin story. One of my friends recently was like, Poppy, I don't even remember. How did you think to want to start raising chickens? And I was like, oh, I didn't make that decision. What happened was when I was pregnant, my mom, she has made me promise since I was very young that she would let her help me do sitting the month.
Okay.
Do you know about sitting the month?
No.
A lot of Asian cultures do it.
Okay.
It's like,
oh, I do know about that. Sorry. Yes.
The first month after you give birth is very, very crucial to recovery. They even have facilities all over China, Taiwan, everything.
Big fan.
Yes.
Big fan.
You have to eat really specific foods.
Yeah.
You can't go outside. You technically can't shower.
Oh.
You just have to rest. Because the idea is birth is such a huge,
that.
it is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So the not showering part is a little hard.
Yeah. Did you not shower?
I didn't. I was really obedient. I was very filial.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's because I promised my mom from when I was so young.
Oh, I'm kind of I want to say this and I don't we just met. I'm so proud of you for
Thank
doing
you.
that.
I feel proud of you too.
Yeah.
And honestly, I recovered really, really well.
Yeah.
And then funnily, the episode in season 3 of Hacks that I'm in, I shot 35 days after I gave birth.
Okay, yeah.
So that was my first shower after giving birth.
They were you're so clean.
But okay, so sitting the month, my mom, she was like, you're going to eat everything that I cook for you.
Yeah.
It was so wonderful. But she got 3 chickens with the purpose of wanting to kill them to make fresh chicken soup for me.
Oh, that's so dramatic.
Yes. And so I'm like.
In your house?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. That maybe is a cultural thing. I also come from an Arab family where they slaughter the lamb and the chicken and whatever also, but we didn't do it.
You didn't, you're right.
We were very
But did you were they your
Americanized.
pets at that point?
Yeah, I would have never, no, I wouldn't.
My mom was saying when she was growing up in China, she had 4 siblings. They all had their own chicken and they all obviously had names. And then when chicken killing came, they would all be hiding their own chicken so that their parents would pick someone else's chicken.
So this is basically you're living through a legacy. Okay.
100%.
Okay, I love this.
So anyway, she's named all 3 of them at this point. And I'm like, Mom, which one are you going to kill? This is so sad. And she's kind of like, oh, it's so hard. I was thinking Da Huang and Mu Hua give me eggs, but Ar Huang doesn't. So I was going to kill her, but then Ar Huang's giving me eggs too. I think she heard me talking about it.
God.
And then the very next day she gave me an egg.
She was like, I am not going.
Yes. And so I was like, Mom, at this point you love them and they're your pet. You can't kill any of them. And then also I was like, how are you going to kill them? She's like, I'm going to ask your dad to do it.
Yeah.
I was like, don't make dad slaughter. If you're this is your slaughter project. Anyways, so ultimately I was like, oh my God, just don't kill them.
Yeah, I will take them.
I'll take them. And then so I was raising those 3 chickens.
So you had a baby and had to raise a human baby and then also had 3 new chickens.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, my entire house is under construction during this point. My backyard is a construction site. There's a big hole in the ground. The chicken coop is this makeshift little fence. I've just broken up with my child's father 3 months after birth. We're going through a breakup. It's chaotic.
Do you think having your parents or your family in the house for that month afterwards was helpful in that whole, because you were obviously going through so much.
It was really helpful
shit.
Actually. I think having a kid brought me closer with my parents. I really relied on them a lot in a way that I was I can't even get too existential about it. I'm just I'm having a really, really hard time. And it was a little bit Dark Night of the Soul moment. And I would just call my mom bawling.
Yeah,
And I was just I just want my mom.
Yeah,
it's so.
You're also full of hormones. You're going through a breakup. You now have a new baby and 3 chickens.
When you're in a relationship that isn't working, the feeling of loneliness when you're with somebody is
it's soul
saddest,
sucking. Yes.
loneliest feeling ever.
You feel even more alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm really glad my mom was there. But then I had these 3 chickens. And then long story short.
No, I want the long story.
Oh, trust me, there's unfortunately so much more. But the construction, my child's father moving, all of this stuff. Someone left the driveway gate open.
Okay.
And then one night when I was staying at my mom's in San Diego, I come back and 2 of the chickens are gone. The third chicken is just wandering the yard.
Oh no.
And I'm freaking out. Like, I was like, is someone watching when I'm home and not home, waiting till I'm not and coming and stealing my chickens?
Stealing your chickens?
I was about to put up like missing chicken signs.
Oh my God.
And then my neighbors told me, they were like, they were like, at 4 a.m., we heard squawking. We came out, 2 coyotes. And the survivor, Arhuang.
The survivor.
He literally.
Wait, is Arhuang the one that wasn't giving the eggs in the beginning? And like, so that's a crafty chicken.
She wasn't even the alpha before.
Oh, now she is.
And she only survived, they said, because there were only 2 coyotes, so they could only snatch 1 each. But they said she was standing on top of a little crate, just paralyzed.
Wait, the neighbors saw this whole thing?
Yes, and they were banging their pots and pans to get the coyotes to go.
This is like...
Yes.
This is its own like episode of something.
Literally. And then so Arhuang was just frozen in fear.
Oh my God, wait.
As the other 2 are running around being chased by coyotes.
This is like a totally not an non sequitur, but it feels like something you would see maybe on like Citizen. And that reminds me of your character. Oh my God, like I'm obsessed with Citizen.
I just got Citizen recently.
Oh, I had to get off it.
Oh, really?
Like I almost had to get off Citizen because I felt like I was too addicted.
How long were you on it?
Oh, forever.
How involved were you?
Very involved.
In the comments?
I had a name. I was talking to people. Like I was especially like, there's a lot of like really sick and weird racism that happens on that app, to be totally honest.
Among the people of Citizen.
In that area. The citizens.
Yes. The citizens, turns out, are racist.
Yeah.
Turns out.
There was like a shooting near my house. There's never really a shooting near my house. There was like a major one, and I was like all over Citizen, crazy, blah, blah, blah.
Wait, how close to your house?
Oh, like really close, like very close. Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to say how close because I'm just kidding. There's no way to find out where I live because of that. There was a shooting near it.
Yeah, you're like LA shooting.
But yeah, but like, people go live and
yes.
Did you get Citizen because of your character?
No, I got Citizen actually because there was like a helicopter situation.
Oh. Yeah, and you needed to know what it was.
And I needed to know.
Yeah.
I was like, my friend was doing their birthday in my backyard and this helicopter seemed like it was circling right above my house. Mm-hmm. Like we all at one point actually looked straight into the spotlight. And so
you're like, are they coming for me specifically?
I was like, what? Why? Yeah. Come on. But so I got Citizen for that. But the live streaming is insane. The commentary. My friend and I had a group chat where we would just send like the most unhinged thing that came up. Like it'd be like man on the corner of Fairfax and whatever with bow and arrow. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Lots of people have bow and arrows. Really?
Yeah. Apparently, according to Citizen. I don't know. I'm like,
should I get a bow and arrow?
No. I'm actually really good at archery.
Really?
I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I know this only from camp.
Wait, that's amazing. I took archery when I was in middle school.
Did you?
At public school in Minnesota. Taught archery.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was me.
Oh my God. Well, I'm excited to talk to you about all of this. I think, sometimes on podcasts, they do I'm going to introduce you. This is what you've done. But I prefer that you tell me or you tell everyone like who you are, like how would you like to define yourself? Like who is Poppy Liu?
Totally. I would say I'm in my core kind of a twink. Yes. And I also identify as kind of like a slutty little mom. I don't know. I say that but it's a bit of like a farce because I'm mostly like incredibly tired. But like, and when was the last time I really hoed around,
Yes.
But it's like, I feel like being a slut is more internal.
Okay.
It's like an internal feeling.
I love that. So you identify as a twink.
Yeah.
And a mom.
And a mom.
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's all encompassing.
And that's pretty much it.
I love that. Yeah. Well, I like that.
And then within that is multitudes.
I think that's really cool. The other thing that we do is this thing called the seeds. And that's that little machine. Yeah, or seed machine. So if you turn that,
okay,
it's basically based on something I do with my stepdaughter and my fiance when I go out of town. Because sometimes I go out of town for work for like months.
Yeah.
And I just make little things for them, affirmations or things I would say, or like actions like clean your room.
Yeah.
don't forget to love yourself. So
Should I open it?
Yeah, I don't know what's in it.
God,
and we can
this.
It's either an action, an affirmation, something.
Do you give it to your...
So they get to pick.
You deserve rest.
Oh!
I so agree.
Oh my God. It's like almost like,
thank you.
It's like a prophecy.
Right after I just was like, I'm so tired. I'm a mom and I'm tired.
But you do deserve rest. You've done
Thank you.
so much.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna put this.
Oh, I love that. Keep that. Like that's for you.
100%.
That's your little affirmation.
Thank
Remind
you.
yourself that you deserved to rest.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thinking about that constantly.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all are at this point.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about your childhood because I thought it was really interesting. You were born in China. Mm-hmm. You moved to Minnesota.
Yeah.
And then you went back to China and then you came back.
True.
Is that
correct?
Is that accurate?
Yes.
Can you
correct.
tell me a little bit? Was there culture shock at any point? Is there a place? Does America feel like home? Does China feel like home?
Putting a pin in the chicken story as there's
my God,
more.
the
but
chicken
I
story.
actually think it's gorgeous narratively for that to be the arc throughout the podcast.
Thank you. We will continue. Keep coming
Yes.
back to the chicken story.
I would say right now we are in Act 1.
Okay, yes.
And this is a 3-act play.
3-act play, 100%. All I really care about, we could sit here for the entire time and just talk about the chickens. Because when I saw that on your Instagram, I was like, this is harrowing. And you're making it seem so lovely to have chickens.
That's awesome.
And
Thank you.
but also that your chickens may have PTSD.
But
so I don't know if
also
that
I was
affects the eggs.
Oh, that's a great question.
Okay.
Actually, not really. I feel like the more stressed they are, the more they lay eggs, which is kind of I was as a Capricorn, I also identify. You're
maybe I should just kind of try to stress them out.
The hardest years of my life, I've never worked more.
Yeah.
I was born in China. I was born in Xi'an, China, which is where my parents met. They were both the first in their family to go to college. Mom grew up in Xi'an. My dad is from incredibly, incredibly rural, northern China, mountainous plains. My great-grandparents are indigenous to that area. My grandparents, they were the teachers and also the doctors of the village. Yeah. All my dad's childhood stories are he's we were playing in a pit full of snakes. We were bathing in the Yellow River and then a flood happened. I fell into a huge hole in the side of the mountain.
You're I know where I come from now.
Exactly.
Yes, okay.
Exactly. But when my dad's youngest brother, he's the oldest of 5 boys, which is incredibly lucky for Chinese people.
Oh, 5?
Or just boys. Having so many sons.
That's true.
Yes. Especially if you're rural.
Yeah. My father was the oldest boy of 8 children, boys and girls.
When my dad's youngest brother, my uncle, was born, when he was a newborn, he fell into a coma and would not wake up. 3 full days.
Oh, wow. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, they tried everything. They tried I think they found doctors, whatever, and he just would not wake up from the coma. My great-grandma hears of this, and the lore is that she traveled by foot, crossed multiple mountains, as you have to do.
Of course, yes.
How else are you going to travel?
Yeah.
And when she came, what she did was she got red string.
Okay.
She tied his 2 thumbs together, and
I'm
then the 2
notes.
thumb toes together, an acupuncture needle pierced through a garlic, and then put it on several acupressure points on him. Maybe there's some other stuff with string too. That's the part I don't remember. Yeah. But basically doing all of this, he sneezed and woke up.
Shut up. He woke up. He sneezed and then woke up.
Sneezed and woke up.
I mean, I believe it.
Yeah.
Because I think, one, obviously all of these things are rooted in indigenous medicine practices that have been working for a long time. Second of all, I think every culture believes that garlic cures everything.
Garlic cures everything.
Yeah. My teta, my grandmother, always just, I'm sick, olive oil and garlic. Oh, I got a bee sting. They would cut a garlic.
And put it on.
Yeah, garlic. Garlic for everything. It's it reminds me of my big fat Greek wedding with the
paper cut.
Yeah,
they put garlic in your wound.
100%. Garlic for everything. And now I tell everyone, and it's totally true, if they're sick in any way, I'm cut up garlic, put it in honey, put a little lemon in it, and you'll feel better tomorrow.
Yeah.
And when they don't feel better tomorrow, I'm do it again.
Yeah. You're you didn't put enough garlic. My mom does a thing where she'll mince a bunch of garlic, put it in a spoon.
Yeah.
If you're sick, you put it in your mouth.
Yes.
And you just
hold it
breathe.
there?
Yeah, you just hold it there and you breathe in through your mouth and then out through your nose.
Ooh, like garlic vape?
Yes, exactly. Wait.
Did we just come up with something?
Are we starting a garlic vape business?
Okay. I don't want to talk about it.
It was here first.
Yes.
It's patented.
Yeah, exactly.
By the time you hear this, it's
our
patented.
name.
Don't take it.
Seriously.
I'm coming for you.
Okay.
I'll come for you.
So this is amazing. I've like heard you though talk about the reason why I'm like obsessed so much about your childhood is just this like idea of Homeland has come up for you. Actually, I have a quote.
Oh my God, Dad.
From you.
She's prepared.
Yes. You once said, home is a migratory seed that we can plant wherever we go. And I honestly get emotional. I just think that that is like such a profound thing. And for me, with Palestine, obviously, that is like, that resonates so much. Like I feel like I hold Palestine within me wherever I go. Like where that comes from, is that from, you know, like having to travel a lot, having to move a lot?
I feel like for all of us who are diasporic, it kind of is a necessity, you know?
Yeah.
We turn it into poetry or we turn it into something that's beautiful and romantic, but some of it is just out of, you know, longing.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot where I'm like, the most romantic thing to me is longing. You know?
Yes.
But also like Chinese people are obsessed with longing. We love like forbidden love and stuff. So there's that part. But I moved to Minnesota with my family when I was a week from turning 2.
Yeah.
And then we moved so much. And I was like, I think for my parents, moving to the States, we were the first in our entire family to leave the country.
Oh, to leave.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
the majority of my family is still in China. So, you know, it was like, I kind of think from their point of view, it's like the first big migration after that. Being migratory just was instilled in them, and which we just couldn't settle down anywhere. Yeah. You know, in Minnesota, I think we lived in, my mom and I counted, I lived in 13 different houses by the time I turned 18.
Yeah, I moved a lot too. That's really crazy.
Really?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, and it just, I was like in awe of friends of mine who were like, I'm living in the house that I was born in.
I always find that insane. My fiance's, the house that his parents live in is the house that he was born into. And I'm like, how is that even a thing? Yeah.
What?
It's really wild. I find it so interesting because there's just so many people who have this like longing for homeland. And there's so little conversation about that, I feel. Like I feel like it's just something that people in the diaspora like are like holding on to and not really expressing. And I just loved that I love the way you expressed it.
Thank you.
I also just love that you're talking about it. And I also think that I wonder if that longing and that understanding is like maybe what brought you closer to Palestine.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's also interesting because I don't think I located the feeling of longing until I was an adult.
Yeah.
You know, but also when you're a kid,
you don't really know
you
what
don't know
you're feeling.
anything. You just know what is in front of you and that's it. But even when I moved back to China when I was 14, at this point, like we had lived in Minnesota for 12 years. We'd actually just become US citizens like the year before. And then my dad's company gave him an assignment to go to Shanghai. Okay. But we went back as expats because now we are US citizens. And it was this wild thing. Have you seen Exo Kitty?
Yes.
That show. Okay, so I went to international school in Shanghai. Okay. And it's kind of like that.
Okay, yeah.
It's not that much of an exaggeration, actually. And so that was kind of a mind fuck a bit because on the one hand, in Minnesota, I was living this very kind of split screen life. I went to public school. Most of the kids were white. Yeah. But then on the weekends, it was very, very heavily Chinese. I went to Chinese school every Saturday. Oh, wow. I did Chinese dance every Sunday.
Amazing.
My parents were always going to like, all the aunties and uncles would like take turns hosting like poker parties at their house, and they'd put all the kids in the basement and we'd like play video games and watch
I had a very
PG-13 movies.
Very similar childhood.
Really?
Too. Yeah. Yeah.
Again, I was like, diasporic people, we're all like, we see each other.
100%. Yeah.
So, you know, and like, they'd carry like my asleep body back into the car and back home. And, you know, there was part of me that was like, you know, at this point, I'm very Midwestern as a person because I'm 14 at this point. But then I was like maybe it will be cool being back in China and being with like my people again. And I went back and felt so estranged.
Did you?
Still, yeah. You know, I speak Mandarin, but it was very clear I'd grown up in the States.
Yeah.
I also went to an American school and I went back to Shanghai.
Yeah.
And that was a really big class difference.
Okay.
You know, like my parents like immigrated with very little money.
Yeah.
By the time we left, we were kind of like middle class-ish. And then in Shanghai, all my classmates were like, you know, they were like
Ballin'.
the kids of diplomats. They were like one of the most powerful families in South Korea, you know, et cetera. So that was also a mindfuck. And to see how white supremacy and racism permeates globally and to be like, oh, my white classmates feel like kings here, you know? And there's still this hierarchy in which like for some, like white people are still at the top here, even back home.
That's so interesting.
And that like really, I think that hurts.
Yeah.
You know, to be like, I'm back home and I'm like with, and
my
obviously
people.
that's like it's a very big oversimplification, but you know, I think that feeling really stuck out. And then, yeah, I think it wasn't until my 20s that I really got to like sit with identity and being diasporic. And
I mean, even in your 20s, getting to that is like huge.
when do you think it was for you?
I think I definitely had like a kind of a shock factor because I went to school in Arizona. I went to U of A, bear down. And I was there, I'm a little older than you. I was there on 9/11 and I was a political science major. And I had like bleach blonde hair and I wore like little tops and I was like super cutesy and whatever. And I was in these classes and I had a lot of knowledge. And I just remember on 9/11 having, you know, this like realization. We were back in classes and they were like not mandatory. And I went into the classes and I thought like in my head, I mean, I grew up outside of DC. So like everyone had this kind of like background in like geopolitics and understanding, you know, political structures. And that's why I decided to be a political science major. And I just felt like everyone got that.
Yeah.
And when I went into the classes and we were having like a constructive political conversation about 9/11, everyone was just literally saying, wipe out the Arabs, kill them all. Like, you know, kind of similar rhetoric to what's been happening around Palestine. And I was like, dumbfounded. I was like, this is really the conversation. So I was like, okay, I'm going to stand up and say something. And I was like, so you guys all believe that all the Arabs should die. And everyone was like, yeah, you know, literally, I mean, like 90% of the class. And I was like, you just killed half my family. And everyone looks at me, blue eyes, blonde hair, like, you're not an Arab. And I was like, yeah, I'm half Palestinian. And you know, I still got people in my political science classes being like, Pakistan? You know what I mean? Like, of course. I think that was like a huge, like, wake up call.
Right.
That I had lived in somewhat of a bubble in the understanding. I had never really had to explain away my Palestinian identity before. If people didn't like me, they definitely weren't telling me to my face.
It wasn't so overt.
Yes. I mean, I think just a lot more like liberalism happening. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think I was just like a little bit confused when that happened. And it definitely—
Do you think that like radicalized you?
Oh, 100%.
And you were like,
that's the moment. That was the moment. I mean, I knew a lot about Palestine. I knew what was happening. I understood the occupation. I don't think I really understood how it proliferated into American culture and how 9/11, I think, was a big wake up call for a lot of people.
For sure.
But anyway, I was just saying that you having that conversation early with yourself, I feel like also leads you to a place in your 30s to be so like grounded in your politics, in your morals, in your activism. Like you're not just, I know you do a lot of activism for a lot of different phenomenal causes, not just Palestine, but I just think the way that you have brought up Palestine in such like a graceful way, in a way of like learning and wanting to understand and being a part of and not feeling like an ally, but feeling like part of this movement. I don't know. For me, it was very touching. I just have like a lot of admiration for people who put themselves, and I know that like it has cost your activism in probably a lot of different spheres, has cost you a lot, I'm sure.
Interestingly, nothing more than Palestine, though, because it's so singular.
We're glad we can help.
That's why I'm like diehard,
Right?
you know? But I mean, like I so appreciate you saying all of that. And also, you know, I think a lot of us are like, Palestine is like such a litmus test, you know, for so many people. And I was doing activism throughout my 20s, and I was doing a lot of stuff with like reproductive justice and like reproductive rights. And like that was my political home for a really long time. And yeah, I think there was like so many different layers of surprise and heartbreak, you know, once the genocide started, to see, on the one hand, it's disappointing, but you expect Hollywood to be like shitheads, you know, or people to just be like, it's cost too much to speak up. But I think the most heartbreaking was to see justice communities that I felt strong affinity with fall apart around Palestine. And that was so surprising for me. And it was, you know, but I think there's nothing comparable in terms of like the stakes, you know, with Palestine. So it did lift the veil on a lot of stuff. But it was like so shocking for me that for like, you know, reproductive justice, it's all about bringing in state violence. It's about connecting these various justice movements to each other. And for me to be like, to not talk about Palestine at this moment when you're talking about state violence, you know, as this collective consciousness shift is happening of everyone connecting the dots, like part of it too is because of Palestine, I also see this entire generation of like young people, which I kind of include myself in too, of like having a rapid fire, like political education, connecting all the dots everywhere, you know, of people being like, wait a second, like the IOF and our own militarized police and cop cities and like,
like it's
APAC
all interconnected.
And the two-party chokehold. You know, like you were seeing,
I think that's also,
everything's lifted.
That's also why I think, you know, people like us who are like starting to see all of these dots connecting or have been seeing them. I mean, I feel like that's kind of been the like pull your hair out scream moment for Palestinians for so long, is like, how do you not see that this affects you?
Yeah.
And I'm sure for you it was probably such a heartbreaking moment. Like for me, as like, I always felt like I was a feminist, and to see like all of these people who are fierce feminists who come out about all these issues to just like wither under the pressure of Palestine.
Literally wither.
Yeah, and to not, and also with the LGBTQ,
it's such an ick.
It's really strange to see the pink washing and what's going on with that. It's been it is an ick. Like you want to just scream at them, like, how could you even care about this issue and not care about Palestine?
Yeah, it's like at best it's willful ignorance. At worst, it's incredibly sinister. To be like, I'm going to completely...
Well, you're a cog in the machine
100%.
Yes. So you can't act like you're really an activist if you don't see how all these things connect. The Seeds is available on Watermelon Plus, the home of stories that matter. Watermelon Plus is home to award-winning cinema from Palestine and beyond, the kind of stories that you can't find anywhere else. One of my favorite hidden gems is Miles from Nowhere. It's a hilarious comedy about a Muslim Kiwi. It's funny, romantic, and I watched the whole thing in one sitting. If we want to shift culture and change the way stories are told, we need to build our own power. If you believe in what I'm doing with Watermelon Pictures, the best way to support us is to subscribe today. Preserve the past, fuel the future with Watermelon Plus.
I was hearing a lot from people where they're like, oh, I just like, you know, I don't really get politically involved. I don't really say, and which is
it's such bullshit.
Fucking annoying. But also I'm like, in fact, you actually do get politically involved because you have no problem talking about Donald Trump. You were all up, you know, you were here for BLM. You know, you actually do a lot of these things, but you exceptionalize Palestine in a way like that's actually the anomaly that you're not showing up for this.
They're PEP.
Seriously.
You know, progressive except for Palestine.
Yeah. It's like you have like swerfs, you have turfs, and
PEP.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But
yeah,
I just appreciate it. I appreciate people who, I mean, a lot of people say like, you didn't have to. I don't say that because I feel like, yes, you do. Yeah. Like everyone does.
Yeah, if I care about my soul.
Yeah, and you're a human. I appreciate people who see the big picture and then do realize that they do have to.
Yeah.
Instead of me saying to you like, clap, clap, clap because you could have stayed quiet. My point is like, I know you couldn't, but I just appreciate that you saw that. And I'm curious again, because that's all I am is curious, if like it had anything to do with, I've heard a lot of people say that becoming a mother like changed them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just curious if like becoming a mother made you see or want to just give your child a better world. And that 100%,
like, 100%. Yeah. I'm definitely. I think it also, being a mother made me braver too, where like,
oh, I love that.
I think like many people I had so many relationships fall apart after October.
Yeah.
And, friendships, professional opportunities. And there was like, my child was like just turning 1 at that point. And actually prior to the genocide happening, I'd already had a year of kind of like having a number of friendship ruptures and relationship ruptures following my breakup too.
Yeah.
Where I was like, wow, like
what the
fuck? Yeah. I was like, there's such a huge clearing out that's happening because I was like, my own priorities have shifted and I feel so laser focused and clear-headed, and I don't have time for a lot of things that don't feel completely aligned. And I don't have the energy to explain away why that is. And so,
it's not your job.
It's not, so it did come at a part where I was like, okay, I feel really kind of internally aligned and clear about myself and my role as a mother and where I stand as a human. But also I was like, it does feel sad. Like I've had so many relationship ruptures. I feel quite lonely.
Yeah.
And also like, now in 2025, I feel like I'm on a different side of it where I'm like, actually the relationships that have strengthened during this time, the new ones that have formed feel stronger than ever. I feel like actually so strongly situated amongst community and for all the right reasons too. So I am ultimately grateful like for kind of the
process
and the things that ruptured and stuff. It's interesting. I love my parents so much and like they've always known I've been very like politically active and involved, and like I like tell them about it. And like when BLM happened, I was like doing a lot of sort of educating to my parents and sort of to like what I called the like WeChat aunties about like like anti-Blackness and like
that's amazing
police violence. And my mom and I like went to protest together, and it was like really
you have a protest
special.
mom too. I have a protest mom.
She doesn't go to a lot, but like we went to like one little local one, and like
that's amazing.
Yeah, which I was like really proud of her. But there is no issue outside of Palestine that I have been so immediately and quickly aligned with my parents about.
Really?
Yes. Like they are since day one. And I think there's a lot of Chinese people that are very, very, very like Palestine ride or die. Yeah. Which I didn't really put this together until kind of recently, but the Nakba of 1948 was the year before communist liberation in China, 1949. And so I think there was a lot of
parallel.
There's obviously a lot of complicated stuff with the CCP and
of course.
the Communist Party, et cetera. But like at the time, it was overthrowing sort of the imperial dynasty rule of millennia. Yeah. And it was this people's and workers' rights movement. And I think Chinese people saw so much affinity with what was happening in Palestine.
I had no idea about that.
I didn't know this either, but like my parents are like, oh yeah, like
they're like obviously.
Yeah. There's there's obviously hypocrisies with it to be like within China, the treatment of Muslims is
of course.
And there's a lot of that.
It's not necessarily always representative of the people we know that the people are not represented by their governments and what they do. So,
but like the Chinese people are like Palestine all day, every day. Yes.
I truly had no idea. So I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, it like kind of rocks. Like even, when I was like days where I would be so like mad and venting and like whatever, like my parents were like same in our WeChat threads and then on like Chinese Twitter and on like, so Hongshu and like Weibo, like they were like,
I love that.
I was like, whoa, this kind of like, I didn't expect this.
Not at
to
all.
be-
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing. I love that. I love your parents. Tell them I said
me
hi.
too.
I wanted to know about something that I learned about you, that you're a doula.
Yeah.
Okay, I've always been like really curious. I don't have kids. I made a conscious decision, and I'm probably not going to have kids. I have a stepdaughter. Love it. Love my family. Love my dynamic. But I've always been like very weirdly and oddly obsessed with the doula process. Like, when did you become a doula? When, why, what? Like, tell me all about that if you don't mind.
I just saw my friend recently here with her 6-year-old, who was the first birth I ever did as a doula.
Really?
Yeah. And it was and then she got to meet my child.
What a
and it was
full
so beautiful.
circle moment.
Yes.
For people who don't understand, how would you explain what a doula does?
This isn't how I would describe it. I had a friend describe it being like, oh my God, it's like a producer for your birth. And I was like, yeah, kind of,
Okay,
Like,
yeah, that's actually, I feel like that works.
Yeah, like if you're doing so prior to birth, it's creating a birth plan with somebody, which is basically like talking through what is your ideal birth, what are your like triggers, what is your history, because the way our medical system works, it's so factory based,
Yes,
and it's just in and out and
They're
in
like,
and out.
whoever's there will give you whatever they give you.
Yeah. So basically you're just, I think of it as letting someone know that they have agency over this experience, knowing what their options are, being able to make informed choices, and then on the day helping them to advocate.
I was just going to say, you're like a birthing advocate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like that's amazing.
Yeah. And like a lot of it is like so simple of just being like letting people know that you have a voice in this hospital setting. It can be so daunting. There's a doctor there being like, well, you need a C-section, and being like,
That happens so often.
Yeah. And C-sections spike before lunch break, dinner break, before
because they just want to get the baby out. Yeah.
And then being like, like what is the purpose of this? Is this necessary? Is there, and I take notes as I'm the doula, like when I'm there too, because the nurses rotate shifts. And there have been times where like, I'll be like, oh, they already did this before, that's not often like
but still.
they have the system there, but there's not always a practice where like you have new people come in and they're like, I'm so-and-so, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
This is what this test is. So yeah, you just are doing a lot of advocacy for people, but also like helping them kind of dream a little bit into what they want their birth experience to be, and helping them to like set it up so that they can have that experience.
Okay, we're going to do something fun.
Okay.
We're going to do a speed round of questions.
Fun.
And so you can, answer them for as long as you want. But what's the most unhinged role or audition experience you've ever had?
It's like, how much tea do I want to?
Give me the tea.
I don't know. Okay, maybe it's not unhinged, but this was the most fun.
Okay.
I really like doing like indie stuff. I really like doing
I think
stuff
that's
with
amazing.
friends
And I love that you're
everything.
doing it still while you're getting like these amazing,
Thank
awesome
you.
roles.
It's like the best.
Yeah.
But I after my abortion film,
Yeah.
I made a web series with my friend about her life as a professional dominatrix.
Oh my God, yes.
And we crowdfunded for it, and it was very grassroots, so it took 2 years
That's
to
amazing.
like
Is it out?
crowdfund and make. It is, but I think it's been taken. Part of it has been taken down because it's not safe for work. Who knew? But I was a baby dom and trained under her, and I was sitting in all these client sessions with all these like hot New York femme doms. And it was so cool. I'm like such a nerd where like I love the process, if you will. And so it was like a full year. I was like, I am a baby dom. And I was like learning how to like do a single tail whip. And I was like,
really?
Flogger.
I've always wanted to be a financial dom.
Oh my God, I could see that for you.
You don't have to do any of the sexual stuff, and it's just all
Just
about
get
like taking money from people.
money.
Yeah. If your life was a surreal indie film, what would the title be?
Oh my gosh, I'm just a twink.
Oh my God, that's so good. The Poppy Liu story.
Yeah.
If you had to describe yourself using only 3 emojis, which 3 would you pick?
Okay. This one.
Oh. I love that you're doing them with your face. Okay.
And then, they're all going to be smiley faces because I have to do them. The one that's blushing with hearts all over its
that's
face.
my favorite.
And then probably the one that's bawling.
Yes, of course. Yeah, the crying one.
Yeah.
What's your go-to weird talent that no one expects?
Thank you for asking.
You're like, I have been waiting all year.
Me and my friends were just saying recently, we want to do a talent show party.
Oh my God. Yes. Can I be invited, please?
100%.
I don't have any talents, but.
No, you absolutely do. Because so right now we're all thinking about our talents.
Okay.
I already know mine. Before I thought it was just I can apply lip liner really well without a mirror.
Oh.
So I was like, it's gonna be
That's very Breakfast Club of you.
Thank you.
Okay.
But then actually I'm gonna elevate it for the talent show. I'm gonna do a full face of makeup.
Without
no mirror.
looking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so can you do it?
Of course.
Okay.
You'd never ask. Okay,
I'm so
I
excited.
obviously have lip liner on me.
Yes.
Actually, you know the Kanafa Queens?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God, we're about to eat their
I'm
kanafe.
obsessed with them. Well, so the first time I met them, I was like, I forget which like bazaar.
Yeah,
it was
of course,
like East meets West one of those.
Uh-huh.
And I was walking around and I was just putting on my lip liner and like looking around. And then me and Rihanna, who's the daughter, look at each other. She's also putting on lip liner.
Oh, so she can
and
do
we
this
look at each other and we both just start cracking up.
Oh, I love that.
And then now, I love them both.
I'm also really excited. Okay.
Okay. I need to enter a Zen state of mind.
That was amazing. It was literally perfect.
And then I do a little smudge. And then on top, I do a little bit of.
Okay, I'm sorry. That was really good.
My talent for the full face of makeup is going to be like 20 minutes.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
So
Everyone's
long.
and they're like, okay, we know you can do it.
Yeah, someone else is like, I'm doing the splits. And I'm like.
That's really good.
Thank you.
No, I mean, but honestly, I don't think that maybe like a lot of people don't realize how hard that is. Like to get it actually on your lips.
Don't realize, try it.
Yeah, try it. And also like you're not overlining. You're getting like your exact lip.
Thank you so much.
What's the most Poppy Liu way you can start a revolution?
A revolution. Probably like sluttily.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. What's the most magical thing that's happened to you recently? You're like, can I say this?
I was like, maybe this is the one. I'll just say this. I have a crush.
Oh,
and that's really magical.
That. Oh,
having a crush is so good for morale. And
also it just feels amazing.
Yes.
Oh, I love that you have a crush.
I'm
like, is it me? I'm kidding. You once said Jack Nicholson would play you in a movie about your life. Is that still your answer?
I totally forgot I said that. You know what?
We do our research over here at the Seeds.
I'm impressed, honestly. You've dug up some gems. Not know.
I think it would be amazing.
Not know.
I think it would be phenomenal. Okay, that's amazing. Let's
imagine
Jack Nicholson's people.
Okay.
Let's talk.
Let's talk to each other.
Yeah.
Imagine Jack Nicholson, a twink.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, I didn't even think about that. That would be amazing. This one is interesting for me because I love you. You play such fun characters. And actually, when you were telling me the story about your life in this kind of international school, it reminded me of Maylin. Yeah, and like I just
deep cut.
Yes.
And do you know that it's scrubbed from the internet?
No, it's not.
Yes.
Really?
If my friend wanted to watch it recently, he had to go into the dark web and pirate it.
Dark web that shit, because dark web Sunnyside, because it's amazing. What is a role that you did that was so you that it didn't feel like you were acting? Or have you had one?
Kind of. I would say actually Kiki and Hacks is probably the closest to me. I always say she's me on one of my best days.
Oh my God. I love it.
Like her level of like joy and just like doesn't kind of give a fuck, has sort of just like this like
I feel like
brightness and self-confidence about her.
And will kind of say anything. I feel like which is amazing.
That's very me. And also is a single mom.
Yes. Oh my God, you're right.
Life imitates art.
And she always brings that up.
She loves being a single mom.
Yes. Everything that she does, that character. So I think that is totally you. Everything she does, like the popcorn purse.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, that is just, it's like.
Where's my popcorn purse?
It's what everyone wants.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's amazing. We are going to, since you're not fasting, have some kanafe.
Would love.
Yes. And then I thought maybe we could pull an angel card.
I would love that.
Okay. So do you want to bring the kanafe out?
Do different like dialects and regions say kanafe and kanafa.
Oh, people say it.
Everyone
Yeah,
says it
differently. There's no
then,
like. I
or
mean,
it's just like kanafe, and then and then I'm like, what?
thank you, Kanafa.
Yeah, I was like, what would a Chinese Muslim say?
What do you think?
I don't know. I need to find out what the Chinese.
Let's try it. Cheers, by the way.
Cheers. Do we like touch our things?
Yeah. You were fasting or you are fasting, but you're not fasting right now. Is there was there something, you don't need to I'll let you finish your chewing, but was there something that brought you to feeling like called to fast?
Well, I did convert/revert to Islam in August.
You did?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my
so
God,
it's actually my first Ramadan. And I
love that.
I'm taking my time with kind of how I'm learning
integrating
and integrating
into your
everything.
life, yeah.
So there was a world where I was like, maybe I'll do my own version of fasting or, but I actually really liked it.
Yeah.
But then I unfortunately got sick and I had to take meds. And so I was like, okay. And then the minute I stopped being sick, I was like, I can fast again, got my period.
Yeah. So, well, the universe is giving you a break.
Yeah. But then I'm going to try to make it up afterwards because I actually really, really loved it.
Yeah.
I love the ritual of it. Yeah.
Everyone always says that they feel, everyone that I know who does it is like, I feel like I have to do those makeup days. Like,
yeah,
I don't feel good.
I found a 30-day reading guide for the Quran that I did the first week of it.
Revert. Yeah. I love that. I need to hear the end of your chicken story.
Oh, right. Where we left off, I have the survivor, Arhuang.
Yeah.
Chickens are social creatures.
Yes.
They need a pecking order.
Yes.
She became depressed, or they can become depressed.
Yes.
So then I go back to San Diego. My mom then goes, I got 4 more chickens. It's a flock of white chickens. Arhuang's flock, they were all brown chickens.
Oh, so now she has white
Now she has 4 chickens, and then she goes, I'm going to give you 2 for social purposes for Arhuang. I'm going to kill the other 2.
Oh my God.
I'm going to make your dad do it.
A sharp left turn.
Yes.
You're like, remember how we weren't going to kill them? We did.
Yeah. And then so anyways, I saved all 4 of them from
PETA
her.
is coming for
yes.
us now.
And then now I have 5 chickens because I saved all 4 of them.
Oh.
But that flock.
So you took them. You were like,
yes.
no.
They like Arhuang's flock, they were all kind of robust, they're big girls, The white chickens, their flock, they all kind of had overgrown nails. They were missing feathers. It was a lot. So I really had to nurse them back to health. But I think maybe they don't have great immune systems is my theory. Because then 2 summers in a row during the heat wave in August, each summer one of the white chickens passed from
away.
Heat stroke. And I tried, I'm giving
They're
them
misters?
popsicles. I have
You have chicken popsicles?
misters.
Oh, this is a whole thing.
People that are like, oh, you're saving so much money because they give you eggs. I'm like, I'm spending 5 times more money. Getting these chickens medication.
The chickens have garlic vapes.
Literally. I freeze watermelon chunks for them.
Shut up.
So they have little watermelon bites.
Oh my God.
And then the most recent one is then a 3rd girl from the white chicken flock passed after the fires. I think because of the air quality. Yeah. So
Rest in peace.
then I had just Arhuang and the other one, her name is the nervous one.
That's what her name is?
Yeah.
Her name is the nervous one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that for her.
And she survived. So they're both the sole survivors of their flocks. And then this year, as I'm more self-regulated than I've ever been, I was like, I want to be a better chicken farmer. This was thrust upon me. I didn't ask for this, but now I'm here. I want to give these chickens a good
I
life.
love you.
So now they have a gorgeous coop. And and then my best friend got me 2 silky chicks. So now I have, which silkies are pom-pom chickens. But the 2
do they get
older
those
girls,
crazy?
Yes.
Yes.
But then
You can do
here's
so many TikToks with that.
hurt people.
Yeah.
And my 2 girls who are the survivors are kind of bullies to the silkies. And so I had to create a duplex in my coop so that the silkies can be upstairs and the other hens can be downstairs. And they only can hang out together when it's supervised recess.
Oh my God. You're breaking ancestral trauma.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Speaking of which, I got you this book. It's part of a series of books that are basically about the marginalized communities in their American story. And so this is the Chinese American story. And they're meant for kids.
Thank you.
Older kids. But I just thought not that you need to read it, but I just thought you might find it interesting. And
I love when chapter books, if you will, have big.
Yeah, they should be. I just thought you
little.
could have it and save it and, give it to your child whenever they can.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love it.
The one last thing that we do, we have many things that we do on the Seeds, is we want to give you an opportunity to send something back to another guest. So you write something. You can write an affirmation. You can write an action. Like we had someone on here who asked people to do push-ups. You can do whatever you want and then sign it so they know where that came from and read it out loud.
And put it in here?
And then you're going to put it in the little ball that's behind there, in the little seed.
In this ball.
Yeah, put it in that little seed.
In here. Mm-hmm. And no one will know.
No.
Unless the person.
When they open it, and then they'll be like, oh, I got Poppy Liu's.
Oh my gosh. What am I going to? My very own fortune cookie.
Yeah. But you're going to tell us what you're doing.
Oh, I'm going to say what it is.
Yeah, you're going to say it, but they won't know when they get it. Like, there's no way of knowing.
Okay.
Yeah, you won't know who gets it.
I know what it is.
Okay, I'm excited.
This is just where I'm at right now.
Okay, I love it. I can't wait to read yours.
Okay, and then XO Poppy Liu.
Yay, what is it?
Someone has a crush on you. Which is probably true. Someone does.
Oh my God, I love that.
But someone does.
I love it.
Crushes really
make the
world go round.
Oh, I love that you have a crush.
Thank you. I love that I have a crush.
I'm really happy for you. It's the best part of life.
It really is. Mm-hmm. It's so life affirming.
It is. And it makes you feel like a kid again.
It makes you feel like a kid. And it's like a crush. So much of a crush too is a little bit of like fantasy too.
Yes.
You have the vibes, you have the chemistry, but you don't have all the information.
Yeah, it's about not really knowing.
Exactly. And I just put it in.
Yeah.
Love.
Woo! Your seed is in.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I love you. I really appreciate this.
I love you too. This was really wonderful.
This was really nice. And now I feel like we're
honored.
friends and I need to come to your talent party.
Please.
So please invite me because
Think about what your talent.
I need some time to like craft my talent.
I'm to give
Yours
you other
is
examples.
Pretty serious. So
my best friend last time did mentalism. It could really be anything. My other friend this time they have a mini chainsaw. So they're going to practice carving like a wooden statue using their mini chainsaw.
Okay,
so
I
think
love
they're
your
do
friends.
A portrait
Please
of somebody.
invite me. I need to meet all your friends.
Yeah, please come. Oh, maybe I could do something with my chickens. I don't know.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm pretty set on this.
A chicken puppet show.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I know. We're just coming up with great ideas left and right.
Yes.
Yeah.
The talent show part, it's just me for an hour doing stuff.
Yeah.
Which actually, we really could talk forever. But so last thing I just thought of.
Yeah.
When I was in first grade, we had a first grade talent show.
Yeah.
It's 30 minutes long in total.
Okay.
I signed up to sing The Entirety of My Heart Will Go On.
Oh my God.
From start to finish. I sing halfway through, a cappella.
Oh my God.
I sing halfway through. It's like in the big courtyard area. And then a bunch of sixth graders are leaving class and they walk by and it's kind of loud. I stop singing to wait for them to walk by. And then once they leave, I start from the beginning.
Oh,
again. The whole talent show was like 30 minutes. I took like 17 minutes.
Everyone's like, that Poppy is was this in Minnesota?
Yes.
Oh my God, I love you for this.
I'm like in this like little, I have like these like big glasses on, my little bangs, and I have this like little like school uniform on, which we don't even have school uniforms. I just I wanted to wear one. And I'm just standing there like.
You're like, I needed everyone to see this.
Yeah.
I love you for that.
So
maybe that's what you do for the talent show.
A cappella singing again.
Yeah.
The entirety of my heart.
That would be amazing. I will come. I'll show up for the first 17 minutes of that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.